Bro, I don't know if that worked. I'm trying something new. Hopefully everyone heard the intro. But either way, if you didn't, you know it's us because you've clicked on us. And if you don't know who we are, you're probably in for a fucking sore awakening. They've clicked on a clickbaity title, which I believe this one is Love and Light Lurkers. So, Chris, if I say the phrase Love and Light Lurker, what does that make you think of?
Well, the first thing it makes me think of is those people that jump on any feed that says anything along the lines of "do a love spell," and they go, "Stop! You shouldn't do love spells. They would be bad for people." Those are the ones that make me think of them.
Okay, that's interesting. So you're talking about the ones that jump in and give probably crap advice, thinking that they, some would say they're jumping in trying to help. Others would say they're going and jumping in and forcing their views on other people. Like they're the same people that jump in with all this karma shit and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, to me, Love and Light Lurker means someone that is lurking, that never comments, that never writes anything, that doesn't agree, but wants to keep keep quiet. And I think there may be some Love and Light Lurkers in one or two of the online groups we manage. Now, I don't know whether these would be the same people that you talked about that would automatically jump in and give questionable advice, but maybe they don't because they're scared of the repercussions of that, or whether it's just that the Love and Light Lurkers that are lurking in the background are somehow banned from speaking, or maybe that the Love and Light Lurkers are actually kind of like that. What is it that Anyanka says? Hate reading. Maybe they're just obsessed with listening to alternate opinions and just sieve in the background, wishing they could say something, but knowing that it's probably not such a good idea. Now, I don't know. Out of the many people that we have in our various groups and things, and out of the many listeners and viewers of the No Hosbar podcast and various other things that we do that don't interact, obviously there'll be many of them that are sit there and listening because they're interested. And they might agree, or they might think of it as, new opinions, things I'm not hearing, I like the sound of it. But then at the same time, there's bound to be a number of them that are the hate readers or hate listener types. So the ones that are actually, every time we say the W word or talk about neo-paganism or say something about love and light shit and make the old reference about smiting people, that their blood just boils, that they get so upset. Now, if you were to put a figure on how many people that are in the groups or listen to us on a semi-regular basis that probably fall into that category, what number would that be, do you think? Just a gut instinct.
I would say at least 25%.
25%. So you're going percentage.
I'm being polite because I think in a lot of other groups that aren't ours, like that one you like a lot, Advanced Witchcraft.
For fuck's sake, I got kicked out of that. Well, no, I didn't get kicked out. Lady Poison got kicked out. I got demoted.
About 75-80% of the ones in there are Love and Light Lurkers.
Yes.
So yeah, I reckon ours are probably at least 25%. I hope it's not higher than half.
Okay.
A quarter, definitely.
Okay.
I think a lot of the other ones just like our content and don't feel brave enough to comment.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping this episode will do one of two things. Either it'll thin the herd, which is what we haven't done for ages in them, because obviously lots of people think, oh, okay, there's not too many people in here. Maybe this is a new thing. And you're kind of like, no, it's not a new thing. It's just we keep our numbers trim for a reason. You know, quality, not quantity, and all that. So to the point that lately there's been lots of discussion in the what does little Delphi call it? A baby witch's crash?
Baby witch's crash. The baby witch's crash.
There's been a lot of comments made lately that we have some kind of Faustian deal on how you find us, and that we clearly put lots of energy apparently into hunting out rare potential, and apparently you can't get in to the baby witch's crash unless one of our fetches has gone and got them.
Oh, I wasn't aware of this.
Have you not heard that? There's lots of it going on lately.
If you're talking about the Baby Witches Crash or Witchcraft Live Facebook group, I'm aware that there's a certain secret little messenger thing where they all chat amongst themselves and speculate and such. I'm aware that goes on.
Public.
I've not been privy to an invitation, but it's nice to see a community forming.
Yeah.
I just hope that it's a community forming around actually discussing magic and not just gossiping about people in the group. Because if it's just gossiping, I would worry a little bit about that.
No, these are face value in public eye conversations that go along the lines of, you couldn't possibly be here unless Chris and Liam had invited you here, or you couldn't possibly get past Chris and Liam's wards if you didn't have potential. Those sorts of comments. And then there was another similar kind of vein of comment. I can't remember how it was phrased now. But yeah, of that kind of ilk of, oh yes, someone said something along the lines of, I don't invite people here. That's what Chris and Liam's fetches are for, essentially.
I see. Right. Well, it's very interesting that you mentioned a call and that sort of thing, because I do see a lot of people that are going and doing the Facebook groups and stuff and creating YouTube channels and the like that are trying to get their subscribers up and such. Is there an actual thing behind the scenes where there is an official call where we think, oh dear, we've got 200 people again in the group, time to give the couple of them a chop? Is this because there's speculation and conspiracy potentially that this might be some sort of, like, if you've ever watched that TV show The Apprentice, where they just whittle them down.
I was thinking
that
more
this is some sort of recruitment process. Oh, The Purge. Yeah, that's a film, isn't it?
Yeah, like the one night a year where we allow them to kill each other.
Which is December, of course. It's a month, not a night, and it's the end of the year. Because where else would it be?
Well, in the season of obligation, obviously.
Of course. So, should we make this episode for the 25% that you are speculating? The love and light lurkers in the back seats, quite literally, furthest away. Do you have a message for those people? And is there any point of them being there, or are they going to be on your list of people to call?
They won't. They're not necessarily on my list of people to call. I think what is needed is if people don't like what we say, that they comment and actually be engaged in the conversation, because I think that would make some interesting discussions that, you know, do happen in Witchcraft Live. I'm very proud of where that is getting. Obviously, no holds barred. Be prepared to defend yourself if you're going to speak. But in the Witchcraft Live, that is a very encouraging space, and is clearly is becoming that, because there are things that are being asked in there recently that I wouldn't normally tolerate, but have actually brought out some really nice conversations that actually have kind of shown me where certain patrons and certain members of the group where they are in their practice, which is really nice. So that's kind of, you know, led to me going, oh, they have really learned something in the last 6 months or the last year from when they arrived, that sort of thing. And not necessarily from us. I mean, Liam, like, obviously I'm talking about the group has shared, which is what's quite nice about the Witchcraft Live group, is it's become this really nice melting pot of sharing of practice, which I never really expected, really, if I'm totally honest.
Why not? It was originally designed for people, customers of the Witchcraft shop. So you would expect genuine questions in there, surely.
I expect genuine questions in there, but I suppose I always expected to be the one having to answer them.
Right.
Because I kind of had thought that the percentage would be around the 90%, like a lot of other groups, of these kind of love and light lurkers. And therefore, if they were going to post anything in response, it would be a meme or a list of correspondences from Instagram that are actually from Cunningham, you know? Whereas actually, that hasn't happened. And I very rarely feel like I have to jump in these days. I feel it kind of just manages itself, which is lovely.
So for those that are listening that aren't in the Witchcraft Live group or the No Holds Barred Witchcraft group, do you mean to tell me, unlike the current group I'm looking at on the Facebook app on my phone, that you don't get posts such as introduce your pet post? We have not done this in a while, so let's see those sweet fur babies. You mean there's none of that?
Yeah, those ones. It's funny you mentioned that one, because I was in a new group a couple of weeks ago that I'm trying my hardest to stay in and not
Is it
comment.
a pagan group?
And that said something along the lines of, oh, we really need a pets feed. And you're kind of like, really? Why do you need a pets feed? And then you get the first 30 comments of people talking about their cats as familiars, and you know how much that offends me. But yeah, I'm very glad that Witchcraft Live isn't like that. And if it ever started to turn into that, then I might actually get my claws out and start a round of the purge. And I might even call it that.
So the love and light lurkers, they are typically defined as people that feel like they're intuitively on a magical path, but they're technically, I do believe, drowning in the current of a river, being pulled under, but mistakenly feeling like they're actually in control because they've surrendered themselves to the river.
Yeah, to put it in terms that we recently discussed and people completely misunderstood, because they thought we're actually talking about them, which they often do, think that we're specifically talking to people that we're not. I feel love and light lurkers, who are the ones that believe they are natural witches, and not tryhards. But they're also the same natural witches that like to read and do quizzes entitled things like, "What kind of witch am I?"
Yes. Yes. They also believe the universe is on their side intrinsically.
Yes. Yes. And we're always here to starkly remind people that it's not. And us being perfect examples of why they're not.
So, what I have never truly come to terms with is that I just don't know whether said people can be reached through logical argument and posts and information. I'm not sure whether that is possible for people to be reached from that, because I don't know, and I'm not sure if they are genuine seekers of a magical path. Because there's the flirtatious types. They flirt with magic. They go and buy Harry Potter stuff. They go and buy the Harry Potter magical wands that aren't really magical. I think they're made of plastic, aren't they? Or maybe some of them are made of wood. I don't know. But they buy the props of a witch from the movies and such. And you've got some people which I think genuinely are interested, but just have no concept of really where they're coming from. And most of the time they're mundanes. Like, I've had so many mundanes that have never ever bothered with spell work. They've kind of always been wondering whether magic's a thing, whether the spirit world exists, blah, 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 blah. But eventually they're forced to use that as a resort, and then they put some energy into try and work out, can I make this work for me, or does this exist? Is this something that I can help? I can use to fix my problems. But they're not the lurkers, because the lurkers are ones that they've been in the community for many years normally. In fact, they've probably been reading for 10 years or more before they've done their first spell. And they're also, I've noticed, the ones that also say things like, don't do a spell, go to the police. Don't do a spell, go to the doctor. Which to me screams, I don't really think that magic exists, because I've never really been able to pull anything off. So I'm going to put down my toys at the moment, and I'm going to go and seek help like the adults do.
Yeah, there was one
which
in
I
one
find
of these
worrying.
groups the other week that was like defending herself as, I am a medical doctor, and therefore my opinion matters. And you're kind of like, no, it doesn't. You're not at a medical conference now. Medicine isn't valid. I didn't just make that statement. What I'm making a statement of is, why are you here then? If you're not a practitioner who sees the value of both magic and science, then what are you doing here? Other than to kind of, upset people. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of idiots in these groups that would, try and wish a tumour away with a rose quartz and be surprised that it doesn't work. But
No,
that's
you
not
need an
because it's not
abracadabra for that.
possible.
Hashtag people frantically Googling abracadabra, doing it and then not understanding how it works and probably making the tumour worse.
So, I just I get those. I get that. I don't know. Do you not feel like some of these feel they're doing a service by being in these forums, when actually it would make more sense for them to just shut up and find a better forum?
I think that there is a group of people out there that have really bad low self-esteem issues and want to do something about it but don't know which way to turn, they often turn to collecting cats or Pokemon cards or various other things as a means to escape. And then I think some of these people tend to find communities, and communities spring up around an idea, whether that be selling essential oils at inflated prices, whether that be some sort of conventions or something like that, or some sort of aesthetic, like a magical witchy aesthetic. Because just literally scrolling through a lot of the feed on my phone with the various witchcraft and pagan groups, what's coming up more than anything, more than the cat memes, more than the comedy is, oh, this one sums it up perfectly. It's okay to be sad. I'm giving you permission right now to feel the emotions you are feeling. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be heartbroken. It's okay to be angry. Now, for me, looking at that and reading that, the very fact that they said that you are feeling right now kind of implies that that post isn't actually meant for the audience. That post is like, I don't know, what is it the New Agers call it, where they repeat a phrase over and over and over again?
A mantra.
It's not really incantation.
A mantra.
But I think, yeah, mantra. I think they're trying to convince themselves. And I wonder whether that is magical in some respect, whether they've made a spell for more self-esteem and they've posted it, and that the attention that it's getting, or 9 likes and 3 comments, has managed some way to feed that. Whether that is a spell, I don't know. I would bet money on the fact that it's not a spell. I'd bet money on the fact that it's attention seeking and that they want people to jump on telling people that don't feel sad. Oh, thank you so much for this, because it somehow quells the pain that is inside the person that posted that. That's what I think. I don't know if you'd agree, but I'm just continuing down the feed, and there seems to be more and more and more about this kind of hashtag mental health, all of that sort of thing. And I've always thought of magical practitioners, which is to be quite self-empowered people, because they literally create change in the universe. And I've also found a lot of them to struggle with emotion, in that they understand there's a power source. And messing around with emotions, with magic and stuff like that, has very interesting repercussions. So I'm not saying that it's bad to feel sad or anything like that, but I am wondering why there is an abundance of attention-seeking, depressed people on social media in general, but also in all of these witchcraft groups, and that they're the ones that seem to also be doling out the advice when some other person posts about something like, is there anything I can do to get over him? Or is there anything I can do to get a job? Obviously, if I answered that question, I would probably offend and upset the person, because there are probably quite a lot of things that you could do, whoever you are that's just posted that, to get a job. I'm going to restrain from telling them because I don't think that they would like what I have to say. From a magical perspective and from a mundane perspective. But that is the love and light lurkers that I'm wondering that you reckon we have 25% of. Now, where's this filter? There must be a magical filter going on, that someone sees some of the fascinating and juicy information that one of the many people in the Witchcraft Live group or the No Holds Barred group or anything like that are posting, and decides, there's a load of occult secrets there, there's a load of information there, this person and this post and all the comments in it is a wealth of knowledge that I can use. What is it in that person that makes them take their finger and scroll on? because that very post answers. Is it because that post actually does answer their question and they're forced that, okay, I've now got an answer to how I make a spell now or what to do in this situation? Fuck, someone's actually given me an answer to this. I was just hoping for some support and some emojis.
Or some justifications for why I'm feeling this way.
Maybe. I was hoping that I wouldn't have to do
excuses.
anything about it.
Yeah. I think the beauty of what our group does is it's that kind of you can't take a horse to water, or you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can make it drink. It normally drowns, and that's kind of I think what happens with some of our lot really is that they're kind of drowning in the fact that actually there are some answers there, and either it's their disbelief, their self-hatred, or their lack of being ready for an answer that kind of stops them going there. I wonder how many people get into our group and then leave almost straight after.
Yeah.
I'd love to know the
I
figure.
don't know if there's any way to find that out. There's probably a button or something we can press.
I'm sure there's some magic Facebook button because let's face it, that's what they're there for, is to mine data. You know, we also know it's as a fact that the algorithms don't work in our favour whatsoever, or at least I feel they do, because they keep a lot of the trash out. Especially when I see groups that have literally been started in the last month and they're at the 5, 6, 7, 10,000 mark, all because they've just got the word pagan in. You know, because someone needs to mine that energy, if Facebook isn't already, of all the self-loathing and bullshit that goes out of those. But I'm just being mean again, mean Mr. Grinch. I just would like to see them actually grabbing the mic a bit and speaking up. If I don't like what they're going to say, but essentially that it would be nice to see just a few more new faces in there, not out of wanting more, but more a case of restoring my faith in the fact that there are people out there that are genuinely seeking magic and knowledge, which I think I think that's exactly what those groups do for me most of the time. I would just like to know that everyone in there get it down to less than 10%, ideally, of people in there that aren't actually seeking, and are just watching because they want to, for some kind of entertainment. However entertaining we are, Liam, that's kind of not the point of what we do.
No, it's the sugar that makes the medicine go down. Comedy is the sugar that makes the medicine go down.
Definitely. So, where you wanting to go with this, sir?
Well, we've got about a minute left. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to tell everyone to get on the fucking Thoth Witchcraft Patreon, and then you'll be able to see what we're going to talk about next, because I'm going to talk about something that's very important, and something that's very important to you, the listener, that you do not realize is important. And you're not going to know what that thing is unless you go on the Thoth Witchcraft Patreon and give us some coin. Because, you know, the world runs on money, which is, funnily enough, one of the things we'll be talking about next, hopefully. But there we go. That's it for this edition of the No Holds Bar Witchcraft podcast. Bye, love and light lurkers. They won't make it over, Chris. So we might as well just say goodbye to them now, you know?
Well, yeah, there is that. I assumed that's what you would do.
Right.